Welcome back to GIS Analysis at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. This application is an application in movement. We have a geodatabase of points representing an animal location every 4 hours. And the field temp is the air temperature in degrees C at each time. And what we want to do is create a table by temperature class. So those events when the temperature was less than minus 30 degrees, 0 to minus 30 degrees, and above 0 degrees C. Total number of events, and then the mean distance traveled. So the hypothesis is when it's super cold, the animal doesn't travel very much, and when it's warmer, the animal will travel more. So to calculate the distance between each location, we can use tracking intervals to line, which is in the Tracking Analyst toolbox. So we'll have to turn on the Tracking Analyst extension to use that tool. So the output will be lines. So for example, our first line is from point 1 to point 2, starting at 4 a.m., ending at 8 a.m. And we have what the time to go from that point to the other point and what the distance is in meters. We also need to know what was the average temperature. So what we can do is use the Join Field tool to join the temperature from the first location and the temperature from the second location to our point attribute table. So for example, our first point was a temperature of 4 and the next point was a temperature of 5. So our first line, after running Join Field twice, our first temperature was 4 and our next temperature was 5. So then from these two fields we can add a field for mean temperature and then calculate the mean temperature for each line. So then we have the mean temperature for each line as a function of the starting location temperature and the ending location temperature. So then the next step is we'll add a class for our temperature, and that will be a text field, and then we'll select the appropriate rows and calculate that text field. So we select all those rows where the mean temperature is less than negative 30, and then we'll calculate that to be a class. And then we repeat that for our other two classes. And we can check our classes. So for example, for this class, minus 30 to 0C, what is the minimum and maximum? So the minimum was minus 30 and the maximum was 0. So then what we want to know is what's the mean distance traveled by temperature class. So we could use summary statistics to create a table for these three temperature classes. And our hypothesis is confirmed that as the temperature warms from colder than negative 30 to above freezing, the mean distance traveled increases.